Greetings my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm going to be reviewing a remixed, remastered reissue, if you like, of one of the most renowned albums from Norwegian black metal heavyweights Dimmu Borgir. And this album is entitled, it's a bit of a mouthful, doesn't just roll off the tongue, but this is Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia, and, in this particular version anyway, and Dust of Cold Memories. So this album, as I say, this is a reissued form of the album, now spread across 2 discs, and we've got the inclusion of a 3rd disc in this really nice little package, actually, of an album that was originally released in 2004, which I have in this original form here, and judging by how kind of beaten up this little insert is, I do think that this is probably a second-hand copy that I've picked up somewhere along the way. But just to give you a little bit of background, I am a big Dimmu Borgir fan. Really love these guys. They've got some fantastic albums and some absolute go-to albums for me when I'm feeling like listening to something a little bit dark and a little bit sinister. But weirdly enough, this album is actually one that I really have hardly revisited at all. I have heard it prior to listening to this lovely reissued format, but for whatever reason this album always passed me by. I tended to go right back to the earlier albums, or it would be some of the latter things, like In Sorte Diaboli, albums like that, or more recent ones, Aeonian. Brilliant albums, but actually, now that I have been revisiting it in this form, I think it's an absolutely fantastic album. If you're not familiar with Dimmu Borgir, this is certainly as good a place to start as any, but they are a Norwegian black metal band, but they are very heavily symphonic. So you could say they're a symphonic black metal band. There is a lot of keys, a lot of orchestration. You just take that intro track here, Fear and Wonder. That is a beautiful orchestration, and that could easily have been lifted from the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. It's absolutely brilliant. But you've got some really memorable, heavy-hitting material here. Blessings Upon the Throne of Tyranny. It's heavy, but it's definitely black metal, but there is such a symphonic edge to it. It's almost like a power metal injection. It's full throttle stuff. Vocals are brilliant. The keys are everywhere. The drumming is thunderous, and the riffs are crunchy and nasty. And I would say, because I'm always a little bit skeptical when I read remix, remastered, everything else, because there have been occasions where I have come across the remastered, remixed versions, whatever, of albums, and actually either there hasn't been enough of a distinguishable difference between the original and the re-release, or it doesn't sound as good as the original. But in this instance, I would say that the sound it's thicker, it's heavier. I think at times on the original mix, it lacked a bit of power. But here, it's crystal clear. It's heavy. It sounds as though it could easily have been recorded and released in 2022, not 2004. It sounds fresh. It sounds heavy, clear. It's really good. Particular highlights we get here on this album: Kings of the Carnival Creation, absolutely brilliant. I think some of this material does feature, and which is why I'm more familiar with it, does feature in the Forces of the Northern Lights kind of symphonic orchestral performances that they did a few years back. I think it was at Varken Festival and somewhere else, where they had a full orchestra and the band. And those versions sounded very big, very embellished, of course, with a full orchestra. But fantastic material, as I've mentioned there, Kings of the Carnival Creation. We've got Hybrid Stigmata, really brilliant track, very memorable. It's the keys, the riffs, really catchy, memorable stuff. It's really good. I would say it's definitely still black metal, even though it's heavily symphonic. It's definitely bleak, and it's definitely got a kind of unnerving darkness and like a magical mysticism to it. Architect of the genocidal nature, brilliant. The titles just roll off the tongue. Puritania is a sort of more of an interlude piece. It's like an industrial black metal symphonic piece. Really, it's a brief, but it's it's good. Yeah, it's memorable. Great riff there though, absolutely love it. But it's got a very industrial vibe to it. Indoctrination, absolutely brilliant. That is a full throttle blasting black metal powerhouse. Absolutely brilliant track. One of the highlights on the album, alongside some of those earlier materials. Elsewhere, other particular standout moments. Absolute Soul Right, another brilliant track. And as I say, the sound, the production, the remaster, it sounds so good. It sounds fresh and it sounds heavy as hell. Then we've got, interestingly, we've got a couple of additional tracks here, because, of course, the original album was just a single album. This is now stretched out to a double album. So we get the inclusion of a Twisted Sister cover, in fact, of Burn in Hell, which does sound really good, actually. I know that Dimmu Borgir have played a few classics here and there, including Accept's Metal Heart. But this, really good. A nice black metal rendition of a classic Twisted Sister track. And then we've got Devil's Path as well, which is another original piece from Dimmu Borgir. It's good. A really good track. Another really nice inclusion. It's heavy, it's bleak. Yeah, it's good stuff. Then I'll just talk a little bit about that third disc then. So the third disc contains pre-production sessions from 2000, and then it's got the Cabolton tapes, which is instrumental rehearsal summer 2000, I believe. It's really tiny font there. It's not the easiest thing to actually read. It's quite difficult, but I would say that last disc with the pre-productions and the instrumentals, that is definitely more for the die-hard listener. I have listened to it, and it is good. It's interesting stuff, quite enjoyable if you're not concentrating massively on it, just something sort of in the background for you. It's not something that I think I'm going to revisit all that regularly, but for completionists and avid Dimmu Borgir fans, definitely they're going to enjoy that inclusion there, that bonus disc with all those extra little bits, because it is cool. It is cool to have it. It's cool to be able to hear it. But I will honestly say that Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia in this form, this lovely digibook where you've got the all the insert, the booklet, really cool, really nice thing. And what I do particularly appreciate with this version here is the new artwork. It's more in line with the cover of Aeonian, I think. It just looks really quite satanic and menacing. It looks dark, but it's a really sturdy package. Really like it. Love that art. Does remind me very much of some sort of satanic mural. But overall, I would say this has easily exceeded my expectations, and it has really shot up in my my ranking, if you like, of the Dimmu Borgir catalogue. It's easily a top 5 album from the band. They have quite a few albums to their name now. Probably it could even be a top 3, but don't hold me to that. But I would say Dimmu Borgir, fantastic band. If you like black metal with a twist, if you like symphonic metal with a twist, then this is a band that will absolutely tick the boxes for you, because they've got it all in spades. So overall, my impressions of this reissued, remastered, remixed version of Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia is that it is a brilliant album, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you like the original, then you're definitely going to like this. It does sound like the original, but better. It sounds cleaner, clearer, but at the same time, just packs so much more of a punch. So there you have it. check it out if you have not already. If you have, what are your thoughts and opinions on this remastered package that we've got here? I'm very interested to hear anyone else's thoughts and opinions, of course. But thank you very much for watching my review, my friends. Do take care, as always. Feel free to like and subscribe. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. And above all, stay heavy.